And now we're going to finish up our motion vocab foldable. So you should still be turned to your foldable in your notebook. And we are going to do the very last section of it, which is about acceleration. So this is a new term for you in your foldable, but you've definitely heard of acceleration before, right? I mean, what does it mean if something is accelerating? It's going faster, it's speeding up. The scientific term for acceleration has a little bit of a different meaning to it, but you're thinking along the right lines anyway. In science, acceleration is any time velocity changes. And so remember, velocity is speed and direction. So if you are speeding up, you are accelerating in science. If you are slowing down, you are accelerating, although we would call it negative acceleration because you're going slower, because it's a change in your speed. If your speed is increasing, your speed is decreasing, both of those are a type of acceleration. What's also really weird, well, not weird, it's just different than what we normally think of, is if something is constantly changing direction, like this isn't a spinny chair, but if it were, and I would just sit here and spin and spin and spin and spin, and my direction were changing, that would also be considered acceleration according to science, because my velocity is always changing, because my direction is always changing, and velocity is made of direction. So it's kind of strange to think about, but like astronauts who are orbiting planet Earth in outer space, you know, they're going around and around and around. Even though they're going at always the same speed, they're called, or it's said that they're in constant acceleration because their direction is always changing. So if you're spinning and spinning and spinning, you're technically always accelerating, even if you're going very slowly. You know, you could be spinning really slowly and it'd still be considered acceleration because your direction is changing. So here's the definition according to the way that we use this word in science. So you're down here, the bottom of your foldable, and I want you to put it on this part, the flappy part that goes out onto your table, but I have it written a little bigger here for you, alongside. Here's the definition I want you to have. Acceleration is a change in velocity. Could be a change in speed, could be a change in your direction, or it could be a change in both. And if someone is speeding up, so they're going faster, we call that positive acceleration. And if someone is slowing down, we call that negative acceleration. Now, I'm going to move on, but remember, this is a video on YouTube, so feel free to pause it so that you can get all this written down. All right, a couple examples of this that I have that I'd like you to add to this part. The car accelerated at 10 miles per hour per second, which would mean that every second the car was going 10 miles per hour faster than it was the second before. So in 1 second, it's at 0. The next second, it's going 10 miles per hour. The next second, it's 20 miles per hour, then 30, then 40. So acceleration shows that we're speeding up or we're slowing down. Our speed is constantly changing every second, or however quickly it is that we are measuring the speed. And another example I have on there, this would be a negative acceleration. So that would mean that this would be someone slowing down, as it says here. So like negative 20 meters per second squared. And we'll get to that unit in a minute. So the formula for this, if you want to know how quickly someone is speeding up or how quickly they're slowing down when they're stopping for something, you take their speed and you divide that by the time it took them to go that speed. So let's say a car is starting at 0 miles per hour and they end up going 100 miles per hour. In order to find their acceleration, you need to figure out how quickly it took them to do that. So if they go from 0 to 100, but it takes them 5 minutes to do that, they're going 20 miles per hour faster every minute. So that would be pretty slow to speed up, even though they're going really fast. Whereas if they sped up from 0 to 100 and they did that in 10 seconds, they would be going 10 miles per hour faster every second, because you would take the speed, 100 miles per hour, and you would divide it by the time it took, which in this case would be 10 seconds. They'd be going 10 miles per hour every second, which would be extremely fast. Okay, so the formula that I would like you to write is that acceleration equals speed divided by time. And then because of this, it kind of has a weird unit, because remember the unit for speed already is meters per second. And so if we're taking meters per second for speed and we're dividing it by seconds, we're going to end up with meters per second per second. So that'd be like saying I'm going 10 meters per second every second that I'm on the road. Or the other way to write this would be meters per second squared. These two mean the exact same thing, but in math, we don't like having like this many division symbols next to each other. That's kind of weird to have. So we kind of combine them. Ask Mr. Shirk about it. It's totally normal. It can happen this way. We combine them and it ends up looking like meters per second squared like this. So that is the unit for acceleration. And then my picture, I have a really awesome picture that I drew for this one. I drew someone who is accelerating while running. They're going very fast, and it's clear in the picture that they are accelerating. So here's my picture. You can see it's someone running. They're running extraordinarily fast, and they're saying, "Can't catch me," because, you know, they're going really, really fast. Yes, that's my picture. If you want to draw one this awesome, you can. If you want to draw something else to remind you of acceleration, that's fine too. Whatever works to help you remember what acceleration is. So that's acceleration. Your foldable should now be completely finished. So what you can do now is begin getting ready for our next lab. In just a moment, I'm going to have you pause the video because you're going to be doing this with a group. So, well, you'll have to pause it at some point to work with your group anyway. But go ahead and turn to your next blank page in your notebook. And I'm going to put the presentation on the screen to tell you about the lab that we'll be doing. So go ahead and do that now. Next blank page. I'd like you to title it Car Velocity and Friction Lab. So remember, velocity is the speed that something is going and its direction. So we are going to be calculating the speed and direction, so the velocity, for little toy cars. And then we're going to also add friction into this and put the cars on different surfaces and see how friction affects their velocity. So this is the title of your next blank page. This should be an update to your table of contents as well. This is our next lab we will be doing. It is going to be a full lab with all the parts behind it, so it will take us a few days to get through. Sorry, I'm trying to switch to the next slide. Let's see. There we go. All right. The purpose of the lab is to calculate the velocity of a car and determine how friction affects its velocity. Go ahead and take a moment and get that written down. Remember, I'm going to keep going through this, but you can pause the screen as long as you need. Make sure you put the word purpose in your margin and then write out the purpose next to that. Then please get a ruler. You are going to make this variables chart. So our manipulated variable, remember that's the same thing as the independent variable. It's the thing that you are purposefully changing. And in this lab, you are going to purposefully change the friction of the surface that the car is traveling on. The responding variable, or the dependent variable, what changes because of that, will be the velocity of the car. And then the constants will be that you need to use the same car each time, because different toy cars will definitely end up going different velocities otherwise. These are the pullback cars, so you pull them back a certain amount and then you know the wheels spin and it goes forward. So it's going to be important that you pull the car back the same direction and the same distance each time. Since we're measuring velocity and direction comes into play here, we need to make sure we're always doing the same direction. These are the variables. Make sure you use a ruler. Fill this entire chart out. Sorry for covering that word distance there. At this time, if you are not yet sitting in a group, then you need to be. And you'll need to get to a point where everyone at your group is able to work together and work on this. You can see you're going to actually be writing 2 group hypotheses for this lab. And notice it does say group hypothesis. So in your margin, go ahead and write group hypothesis. Remember, in 7th grade science, anytime you do a hypothesis, you have to use the words if, then, and because, and this shows you the format. So you're going to be testing 3 surfaces in the lab. The first surface just being the regular lab floor. That's going to be our control, and that's going to be the base point to see how fast your car goes. Then you are going to be bringing in, so you'll have to decide something that people can bring tomorrow. You're going to be bringing in 2 different surfaces that you can lay on the ground and you can drive your car on. And you want to see how the friction of that surface affects how quickly your car moves. So your hypothesis would look something like this. If we use blank as a surface, then the car velocity will blank. That'd be like the car velocity will increase or decrease because blank. So sometimes people bring in things that they think are going to make the car speed up. Sometimes people bring in things that they think will make the car slow down, and it all will depend on the surface of the material. You could bring in things, anything that you can lay on the floor, clothing items, paper items, paper products, items from your kitchen, bathroom, anything that you have access to bring into school tomorrow, so that you can lay it on the floor and test the velocity of your car. So you need 2 different surfaces for that. I just realized my box that I have here is covering up that bottom line for that second hypothesis. So make sure you get that. Hopefully there it goes. So 2 different group hypotheses. Go ahead and come up with them together at this time. Okay, do you have your group hypothesis? Both of them? Hopefully. All right, so now that you have your group hypothesis, let's go ahead and make our materials list. You'll need a car, a compass, and you can use your phone as a compass for this. A stopwatch, you can use your phone as well. A meter stick, and then don't write the words friction surfaces. I'd like you to write whatever materials your group is going to bring in to use as the surface that your car is going to travel on. Remember, this has to be in a bullet point list. You see the bullet points that I used here. That is what I expect from you every time you do a materials list. Don't put commas between these. Please have it as a list. And then the last thing I'm going to have you do, if you get to this today, if you don't get to this, that's all right. We'll pick up from where you leave off tomorrow. We need to write our procedures. So here they are. Once that bar goes away on the bottom, I don't know, I might have to change that for you so you can see what it says. Go ahead and write these down. And this is where we're going to stop today. Just kidding, it's not where we're going to stop. I wanted to show you step 7 that the directions didn't show. So step 7 right there, repeat it 2 more times. So you're going to be doing 3 measures of velocity. And there's step 8.